G'day, guys, and welcome to the Thunder from Down Under podcast. I'm your host, Graham Solomon. If you're watching on Facebook, hit that like button, hit that heart button, give us some love, and remember to go to the Graham Solomon Thunder from Down Under YouTube channel and belt that subscribe button off the wall. Hit the bell icon so you can be notified when we go live like right now, and you can jump in and join the family. Now, today, we've got a special guest. We've talked a lot about lead generation lately. We've had a few guests on with lead generation, and our special guest today is the owner at REI Leads, specialises in digital marketing, websites, and organic lead generation. And his name is Gabriel Contreras Jr. I hope I got that right. Contreras,
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
Jr. So, g'day, Gabriel, and thanks for coming on the podcast and welcome.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to dive right into everything.
Yeah, no, it's great to have you here. Like I said, lead generation has been a massive thing, a massive topic in such a hot market. You've got to get a competitive edge. And that's why talking to you, I've brought you in because obviously that's what you specialise in. And, you've had roughly 5 years doing it and you've built over 500 websites and the list goes on of the things that you've done. So you're very experienced for a relatively young guy. You've been out there in the trenches and you've gained your experience and you know what you're doing. So wanted to get you in because I know the listeners and the viewers, this is a big topic they want to talk about. So I really appreciate you coming in. Now, just to start off with, Gabrielle, I just want to know how you got started in this and sort of what your backstory is. So I guess under the whole heading of digital marketing, how did you stumble over it?
Yeah, for sure. So I got started because I was working. I actually got hired by a real estate investor here in my hometown. I had known him. He was a friend of my dad's actually, and he had hired me to come in and redo his systems basically. So his CRM, he had a CRM program that he wanted me to come in and rework to like work for his real estate investing business. So through there, I got to experience, how to set up lead management and follow systems and things like that. And he from after I had done all of that and I was managing it for him, he had gotten me into also doing his online marketing and building his websites for him. So right from the start, my main experience was doing lead gen and automation and systemizations inside of the real estate investing space. And I did that for about 2 years. And then from there, while I was doing that, I've always wanted to go out and do things on my own. So I took the knowledge that I learned from that job and built it into what's now reileads.com. Yeah.
Yep. So now that's your own gig. You've, like you said, you've cut your teeth. You've gone out on your own.
Yeah.
You've had that sort of entrepreneurial. I want to do my own thing.
Yeah,
How
exactly.
important was it those 2 years of learning, like being in the trenches in the real estate world? You learnt a lot about real estate as well, obviously, because you're
Right.
marketing to that specific arena. So that was handy for you too to be able to get
Right.
to know the nuts and bolts, so that when you, I guess, deal with real estate investors now, you know exactly what they're thinking and what they need to implement in their business. Was that really important to you?
Yeah, for sure. Because I was doing it on the marketing side, but since I was also doing like the systems part of it, I was interacting with all of the cold callers and like the lead managers and things like that, as well as the acquisition managers. So I was interacting and talking with everyone, figuring out what they needed, um, you know, what they needed to work for their part of their job, like their tasks. So I got to see how all that works from pretty much every stage of you know calling the homeowners to actually getting the deal closed. Yeah, so I thought it was extremely valuable for me, especially bringing it into this market where I'm working with other real estate investors.
Yeah, and that's one point I've heard through people I've talked to when they've gone out for marketing companies that have come in and tried to implement stuff in their business that aren't real estate orientated. It doesn't work. They end up
Right,
it doesn't work for them. So that's a pretty important point, that you actually need to know how it works, and especially like if you're dealing with, say, a niche market like wholesaling, you're going to need to know how that works. Realtors, you need to know how those systems work. So
Yeah,
That's probably
exactly.
a big bonus that you got to do that early rather than just be a marketing person in another field and then try and jump into it straight away. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. And have you always been a tech head? Have you always been really good with tech and systems and stuff? Has that been a strength of yours?
Yeah, since I was little, I've been building websites. I'm 27 now. I've been building websites since I was 11. So it's been a really long time. I got to see like how things have evolved, and just how crazy all these different systems, all the different options there are. So it's just it's kind of overwhelming, with everything that's out there.
And have you noticed? Do you think the last year or two things are really starting to speed up with systems being built really
Yeah.
automated? And have you noticed that?
Yeah, definitely because of the whole, everyone being locked up inside. We've really, I know it's always been around for since the internet came out, being in this virtual space. But over the last couple of years, I've really noticed that people are, moving towards virtual, like doing business virtually and doing everything online. So in that, it's getting pretty crazy. So I see that need for people to go ahead and set up their online presence and get themselves into the internet marketing space.
Yeah, yeah, and I've spoke to a lot of people that have been in the business for a while, and they've done the old school stuff from banded signs to this and that. But now they say that if you haven't got a presence online, you're going to get
Right.
left behind. That's sort of the thought, and you'd probably see that, you know, right at the front of the industry being in what you do. You'd see, yeah, you're going to sort of fall behind a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah. And then it's also, we also have to learn how to combine the two as well, right? Because we're moving into this digital space. That doesn't mean we have to stop, all the old school offline marketing strategies. We just have to learn how to actually combine the two so that they work in sync with each other.
Yeah, well, can you explain that a bit to the people listening? Like, I think I get what you mean, but just
Mhm.
explain it to us, like how you can use the new style stuff and even sort of relate it back to the old school ways of advertising.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, we're there's all those different types of marketing, especially like the offline ones where we're doing like direct mail, bandit signs, putting up flyers, even things like sending out text messages, where we're really trying to push that call. um, but one of the great things about having an online presence, having like a website, is the fact that you can push someone to like a website where you have people going there and giving you their information before actually giving you a call, as just like another way of collecting that contact information, right? Because not everyone's going to want to call and talk to someone. People are going to want to go and see what you're all about, see how you do business. And it's really important that you give them that option, especially when you're doing you know things like putting up signs and sending out mail. You're not always going to be able to answer the phone. So you want to be able to make sure that when someone does contact you, you're collecting that information up front. And you want to make sure that that's pretty much automated, so you don't lose any leads when someone's trying to contact you. And so that's a really great way to, if you wanted to combine your offline with online. It's just as simple as like putting a website link on your marketing pieces, just to add that extra piece, to make sure you can like collect your leads.
And encouraging the people to go and have a look there. And I
Right.
guess once they get there, if it's built properly, you can have forms because, like you said, we think of this is not just the millennials, but the millennials would rather go have a look, check it out, rather than ring someone first. Now, if they check it out and they can fill out a form and book someone to call them, that's generally
Right.
the way they do business, as opposed to say the older generation. So, like you said,
Right.
if you direct them to a website, you can have a form there and everything. So once they've looked and they want to, they can fill the form out to inquire, I guess.
Right.
So
Exactly.
yeah, so that's, I mean, a lot of people are doing that already, but there's a lot of people that probably aren't branding their direct mail, text messages, all that sort of stuff as well. So that's something that you encourage,
Right.
and it comes under the heading of branding. And that's probably my next question is, how important is branding, in this day and age, especially with digital marketing? Is branding and creating a presence really important?
Yeah, for sure. So you know online marketing and like the internet is really great because it did bring a lot of tools for us to use as businesses. And a lot of times people do come, and me being in like the website space, most people do have this idea of, I just need to get my website out there, and that's like my online presence. But there's more to it. There's so much more out there for building your brand online, which includes building out your social media profiles, which includes building out your local listings. And a lot of these things are actually free, and that's what I always like encourage other wholesalers or other real estate investors to do, is just go out there and see what tools are available to you that you can utilize and take advantage of. Because yeah, a lot of people may be doing it, but there's still a ton of real estate investors out there that aren't up to date on everything. So it's really important to take advantage of things like that, things like Google My Business, creating your Facebook page, or going and posting into Facebook groups, setting up your Bing profile, your Yelp account, all these other local listings where there's people out there searching on those platforms. And if you have your business name out there, and when other people don't, that's just going to be an edge over the rest, just because you went out and did the front end work of getting your business out there and building up your brand online.
Yeah, so that goes on the heading of branding, but it also, I guess, goes under the heading of organic lead generation, isn't it? Because
Exactly.
you're putting
Yeah.
it in so many places with your branding that it just, you're building a brand because you're getting seen, but it also is generating leads, organic leads that are for free,
Right.
which is another hot topic at the moment. People are saying, well, I'm spending money on this, I'm spending money, but I've got six other avenues where leads are coming in for free. So it just opens up your lead generation, doesn't it? It gives you
Yeah.
another couple of options. So yeah, that's a good point. And then with that sort of stuff, like when you talk about SEO and all that stuff gets tied in, doesn't it? So it can actually
Yeah.
improve that. It
Exactly.
can
Yeah.
improve, your name can go up the on Google, all this sort of stuff. So that's what you do, isn't it? You tie everything together to make sure that everything works in sync. And I guess probably one of the questions you'd get is, how does this work for me? Like how does it? Why would a website work for me? Why? So could you sort of explain the overview of all that, like why someone should get a website, why someone should do all this, like like the nuts and bolts of it?
Right. Yeah. So, like I said, like I was saying earlier, people had this idea of a website is a thing where I just need to have it, right? It's all businesses have a website. I need to get one, and that's where most of it stops. People just think, okay, I have my website online, that's it. But what we're what we need to, change our mindset to understand is the fact that a website is actually uh automated 24/7 employee, right?
Yeah,
Because when you build out your website, the whole point of it is to get your information out there, to tell people what you do as a business, and to also, most importantly, collect leads for you. And that's really the benefit of it, is at any point throughout the day, if someone goes there, it's a tool that is working for you nonstop to get you those leads. Right, you won't be able to be on the phone all the time. You won't be able to do it 24/7, but you do have this software and this tool that does it for you, that will collect the leads for you, collect all the information that you need. Like in the case with our sites, we have two-step forms where we collect all the data that you need to know about this prospect or this lead, so that when you go and you actually talk to them, you already know ahead of time, what situation they're in, why they need to sell, what they're looking to do with that house. And all of that was done by a website, right? And again, so it's not just something that you need to get just because you're starting a business and you want to have some type of place on the internet. It's actually something that is working for you 24/7, making sure that you're getting those leads.
and it also improves efficiency as well. Like you said, that
Correct.
improves efficiency, and it's over there working for you while you're asleep, I guess. Yeah. So
Exactly.
so yeah. So no, that's interesting. And like, what's the main questions you get off an investor when they find out about you? They go, all right, well, I'm all over the place. I need to contact Gabriel. What do you usually get? What are investors
Yeah.
looking for? What are they looking to achieve?
Yeah, so definitely one of the things. So really, when you come onto the online space, you have two options, and that's do it yourself, or have it done for you. And a lot of times, us being entrepreneurs, we try to be the jack of all trades and get everything done ourselves. You go in and you say, oh, I can learn that myself as well. So the biggest thing when people come to me is how is it you, or how is you as a company different than if I were to go with, a simple website builder. And what I always tell people is, yeah, it's really easy. You can go on, sign up for one of those free website building softwares, put your name out there, throw some contact information, put a form. But again, that goes back to missing the point of when people go to your site, they want to be able to see what you do as a business. They want to see all the different services you offer. And that's not something that a lot of people think about when they're building out their website, because they're not going on and putting on a page, listing out benefits of why, someone should go with you over an agent, for example, right?
Mm,
They're not listing out an entire, how it works process, where you show them step by step, why it's beneficial to go with an investor, because of the fact that, they offer, a quick house buying solution. They offer, to buy it outright, like buy it cash, where you don't have to deal with financing, you don't have to deal with, you know listing the house and do all those showings and things like that. And then a lot of people, one thing that's really important they forget to put is, about us, and that's a page that we put on all of our sites. And you want to be able to talk to people, by telling them who you are as an investor, what you do, why you got into it, and that's all on the About Us page. And this is all information that when you go out and do it yourself, a lot of times you forget about, because in your head you're thinking, I just need to have something to, collect information, right?
mm.
And you forget about the fact that, you know the website, yeah, it is important to collect leads, but it's also a way to, connect with the site visitors, to show who you are, and build that relationship.
Yeah, and also customization. Like you said, if you get a generic one where you can fill in the gaps and it's just a generic one, you don't get that customization that if someone builds it for you who's got tech experience, do you? You
Right.
just lack that. So, for instance, if I come to you and I say, "Look, I want a couple of videos here," and that you don't get that customization. It's just a bit of a generic thing across the board, which lacks. I guess the word would, the word I'm looking for is, you know, your own style, your own
Right.
personality. You might say, "Well, I want to get on and do a couple of videos." Well, you can't do that with a lot of the generic
Right.
softwares. And once again, um, with someone, an independent like yourself, it's sort of a one-off cost. Whereas with a lot of those generic ones, you've got to pay a monthly cost, and it gets quite expensive after a while. And
Exactly.
um, so yeah, there is, and this is another part of. I've talked to a lot of people lately about outsourcing something, having your person that you go, Gabriel's my go-to guy. I go to him when I need, because I've got no idea on tech. I would rather concentrate on what I'm doing, and I get Gabrielle to do it. So it's very similar with, like, other lead generation people I've talked to, people that have CRM, that they actually become your go-to people and part of your team.
Right.
And once again, another thing, you just got to really weigh up the cost, because if you pay a one-off cost and you add it up to what it's going to cost you to have that one-off for a year, and then you look at something that you got to pay each month, it can
Right.
actually blow out a lot for something that's an inferior product. So all these things people have got to think about, don't they? They've got to think about that. They've got to think about their brand and their own style, because that's
Right.
that's becoming a bit more prevalent now, isn't it? People are wanting to have their own style. So, I mean, you'd come across that a fair bit, wouldn't you? Like, people are saying, "Can you custom build this to this?"
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So all these things are relevant now. Um, so just can we sort of break down the website? Because I know I've spoken to you about it. Websites, if you're not a tech person, can be pretty daunting. And someone says, "I will draw up a website," and you sort of go, "Where do I start?" So you actually give guidance on that, because you see so many and you've built so many websites. If I said
Yeah.
to you, "Look, I'm looking to do this," you'd actually say, "Well, what I've done before is this and this." So can you just sort of fill us in of an investor come to you saying, "Look, I want a website and I'm thinking of this." Do you sort of ask them a heap of questions about, to sort of prompt them so that you can build a better website?
Yeah. So for sure. So I've been doing this for 5 years, built, several hundred sites, and throughout the years, I've worked with investors that have, told me, this is what I'm missing, this is what I need. So we've worked on all of the different sites that we offer, and then really catering to the different types of niches inside of the real estate investing space as a whole. So if someone comes and says, we do creative financing, or we buy land, or we buy, mobile homes, things like that. That's the beauty of, going with something like REI Leads, is because we've worked with so many different types of investors, that if you were to come in and say, this is what I do in my business, we can actually build a site around how, you run your business, right?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
one thing I did want to mention, you were talking, we talked about the cost of the site itself, but I do like to mention the fact that there's the cost of time, right? Um, when you go in and you're trying to learn it yourself, you're spending so much time trying to build something that's already out there, right? So, I mean, and then there's so many options, even when you're doing like a monthly cost, like different, the other companies that offer real estate investing websites as well. There's still benefits to that over doing it yourself because, like we were saying, if you're a business owner or real estate investor, that's what you want to be focusing on. You were saying it yourself as well. You have more important things that you want to do. And, a lot of times best case scenario is yeah, it may cost some money up front, but you're getting something that's already been done. You're getting the benefit of someone else's experience, knowing how to set things up where you can just, have someone else do it, get it out of the way. Now it's there, it's running. It's running properly. Um, rather than taking time away from something that you should be doing trying to learn a new skill.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think a lot of people in the real estate space are not great with tech, and it's frustrating. And they spend three times as long as they should trying to do, and then they get distracted from what they're really good
Right.
at and what actually makes them money, and they do. And I think people are starting to realise more and more. Look, we've got to outsource a fair bit of this stuff. We've got to delegate it out. We've got to get stuff automated. We've got to get stuff, like you said, with the websites working while you're asleep. We've got to get more systems in place, and that's what you sort of talk about is systems, as well as marketing and websites. You sort of say, well, let's look at the bigger system, and that's where I guess you include the organic. You say, look, let's look at your Facebook. Let's look at not just your website. Let's look at your Facebook. Let's look at this. Your branding, like let's brand this on what you're already doing as a marketing source, whether it be bandit signs, Facebook advertising, whether it be text message. So that's sort of the bigger picture, isn't it? You're sort of looking. You don't just come in and build a website. You talk to people about how they can expand the whole digital
Right.
marketing thing, and it can all interact with each other. So
Exactly.
that's what I mean. This is something that's a lot of people have put off because of the tech issue, and now
Right.
people are sort of started to say, "Well, I have had a website sitting there, and I've just sort of been paying for it, and it hasn't done anything. I need to get it active, and I need to link it with some other areas that it all works together." So, yeah, I think that's sort of a bit of a wake up in the marketplace now. People are starting to say, "Well, I'm paying all this money. I need to start getting
Yeah.
some benefits from it," rather than it just sitting. Because I mean, you would have seen it over the years, websites just sitting there dormant, and they'll
Yeah.
go, "Oh, yeah, I got a website. Does anyone go to it?" No, not really. It's just sitting there. It's not working for them. So that's
Yeah.
what you do. You come in and say, "Right, well, what you need to do here is," and you give advice. So and
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
and structure it. So yeah, so it is. It's really about um, outsourcing something that costs you a lot of time and money where you could be doing something yourself. So, and that's another thing you've probably noticed, and I've noticed in the industry recently, is people are starting to do that now. They're starting to wake up. We're not trying to be jack of all trades and juggle 100
Right.
plates anymore because it's just things are moving too quickly now, aren't they? With it
Yeah.
all, with all the virtual stuff going on. Yeah. So the I just wanted to touch a bit more on the Facebook side of it with all because I've had people on that we talk organic marketing. How would you structure you structured a website? How important do you think Facebook is as well in the bigger picture of digital marketing?
Yeah, definitely. So Facebook is awesome because it's becoming the new Craigslist, where you're able to join communities and join groups in your local area or even virtually, because you could still join groups virtually, um, across the country if you're buying houses over there. So it's extremely important. You want to make sure that you're building up, you know, a a profile, because another thing that people often overlook is their Facebook profile. That's sort of like a website as well now, right? You want to be able to put your business information on there, put links, to your sites, put your phone number, put some like great imagery, tell people what you do, because with something like that, like social media, um, you're able to go and connect with people and let them know who you are and what you do, especially in like local groups where you buy houses, and posting in there telling people what you do. You can funnel them over to your Facebook profile, which when they get there, they have the option to go to your website or call you. And it's all just again about building up your brand and using the tools that are out there to your advantage. So yeah, it's extremely important to focus on the things that are there, and you're probably on every single day anyways, right?
Yeah,
Talking with other people, connecting with people. Why not use it as a lead source?
yeah, that's right. Like use your profile as a landing page as such to get people there. They go, oh, hang
Right.
on, and then they go down and there's links there. So yeah, that's really important. It's like a mini advertising platform and website in itself, isn't it? So
Yeah.
and I guess like most people would know this, but just for the people that are new or whatever, with having something set up like that and being directed by someone who knows where to put everything and how it should look, that then in the sense what it does is when people you go into a group and post something, people will always go and hit your profile, won't they? They'll go, oh, who's this person?
Exactly.
And then they see all that. So it's actually really like a great organic way of attracting, I guess, attention to your banner and all your websites and all that there. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And what else do you usually sort of recommend to link to that? We talked about the Google AdWords and all that sort of stuff. How does that
Yeah.
work?
So there is the paid one. I think right now, like what I would tell people to focus on though is a tool called Google My Business, where you'll see it now if you like go and search on Google. They're wanting to push their maps a lot more now, and that again has to do with like local marketing, right? And basically it's this free tool that Google offers where you can list your business on there, get people to leave you reviews, and it starts going up on the search results. And it's actually funny because if you look at search results, there's Google Ads at the top. Then what we're seeing now a lot more is Google Maps is showing up second, and all of those organic where people are paying thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars to show up, that's going further and further down the list, where there's things like Google Maps that is free, and it's going above those other organic rankings. That's definitely something I would recommend doing. And then one trick I always tell people is even if you're getting started, it's important to get reviews on things like that. And something that you can do, because a lot of times people would say, I haven't bought a house yet, so I don't have anyone to leave me a review. What you can do is you can reach out to people that you've worked with, to leave you a review, tell to go on and tell other people how you are as a business owner, right? It doesn't necessarily
Mm,
have to be this guy or this person bought my house, uh, here's my review of them. No, it's like, if you worked with agents that you've connected with, you worked with title companies, things like that, you can just have them go and leave you a review of who you are as a business owner. And that way, if you are brand new, you can still get those reviews and build up that ranking.
yeah, so
It's just
you
all
can
about getting creative.
and you can add to that once you get a deal and once you
Exactly.
start dealing with people and yeah, so you got to start somewhere
Yeah.
and you just got to be a little bit creative with all that sort of stuff and just to build it as you go. So yeah, no, well, there's always ways around things, and there's always you got to think creatively and like so. I sort of touched on it before, but like as I said, if I was an investor, I wanted to come and get started. I had no idea. If I contacted you, reached out to you, what's usually the procedure? What usually happens? Do you book a call with people, or do you direct them to your website or your products or anything like that? How do you usually go about that?
Yeah, so I'd love to give people options. Most of the time, what people do is they just go to the site and then order it, and then give us what we do is we give you a form with that asks for all your business information, and you fill it out, and then we build a site for you. But there's also other ways like to connect with me and my team beforehand, if you do have questions. If you're personally, I like to talk to people through Messenger, so I always send people my Facebook profile link, where I can answer any questions through there. My email is on my site and on my Facebook profile, so like people that just want to send emails can email me. And then we also have support desks, so where you can submit a ticket with any questions, and we do get that a lot, where someone will come in and submit a ticket about questions, and we answer them beforehand, because people want to make sure that they know what they're getting, and what they're getting is what they're expecting.
Yeah,
So there's a ton of ways to connect with us before you make any type of purchase.
yeah. So I mean, on the graphics up the top, we've got your name there, obviously, so people can check that out on Facebook and send you a message. And also, you've got your www.reileads.com. So they can go to the website there as well.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
obviously under that, we've got if people want to go direct and look at the product, the link is in the white section underneath. So people, if they're rewatching this, they can go in and check it out and find whichever way they want to contact you
yeah.
and do it that way. So I mean, I'll ask a bit of a left field question now, like the crystal ball. Where do you think this is all heading now? Like, is this just the start of this now? Like, like obviously you've got other things like Instagram, you've got TikTok, are all these things going to be, it's all going to be intertwined? YouTube, all this sort of stuff. Is that sort of do you handle any of that stuff? Do you say, right, well, you've got all these set up, link all these things to it now? Are you trying to drive traffic through all social media
Yeah.
stuff now and not just Facebook? So how does that look like from someone that's in tech with your crystal ball? How does that look, moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, looking forward, it does start to get very overwhelming just seeing where things are going. I think the way that from the birth of the internet to where we are right now or a few years ago, everything was moving towards automations and systems and really losing personal connections with who we work with. And there's just so much out there that I think what we're moving towards is getting back to how it used to be, where you're actually building a relationship with people, you're connecting with them, people want to see who you are as a business owner. That's why video is taking off. You see, people want to see you speaking. They want to see who's behind they want to see a face of the company, right? Who's behind the
Yeah,
curtain. So I think that's where we're moving. And it's always been around, but I think content has never it's never been as important as it is now. So getting content out there, we do offer different things where you can like post on the social media, we can copy and paste, which that's a great start, but it is also important to to modify things, because everyone nowadays is giving out these, download my free template, things like that. It's But that goes back to what I'm saying is people want to start building personal connections. So we want to start creating content. We want to start putting things out there and making videos. Video is definitely something that's here now. We're gonna need to like jump right on it, whether that's YouTube or things like TikTok or who knows what's coming next.
mm,
But whichever social media platform does end up taking over, or is still around to the end, the only important thing is the fact that you're just trying to build a connection with people, right? You want to start putting out that content so people can see you, because in the end, so when someone wants to sell their house, they're going to sell it to whoever they feel most comfortable working with.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, with the current technology, like you just mentioned, video, like YouTube's been around for a while now, but now you can do a private YouTube video, couple of videos that doesn't actually go online, and you can send that to people. Like you explain how to do a contract. People are starting to that's a practical way you can implement that in your real estate business now, isn't it? You can actually
Right.
attach it, send a video. So when the contracts, and you can give people options. Like on your website, you can have your form, you can have all this sort of stuff, but then you've given them a video option where you explain things and you say, look,
Right.
you go. So it's just, it's sort of expanding on itself now. And like you said, with TikTok and all everything, new things coming up all the time. Yeah, it's only probably at the start of the wave, isn't it? It's probably going to
Yeah.
go further. But it's starting to balance back up now where people are starting to want to actually interact with people again.
Right.
So I don't know whether that's at the back end of COVID now that people are starting to get out and they want to mingle. But I guess, I mean, tell me what your belief is on this, but a bit of the mixture of the two are pretty good, aren't they? So that you cover all bases.
Right. Yeah, you still want to have the automated systems and things like that, and things running for you on the back end, but you don't want to forget about the fact that you still need to connect with people. You still need to talk to someone, if you want to like really succeed in connecting and building that relationship with your leads.
Yeah, yeah. So it's funny because I've had a couple of people on who've actually come on and in the middle, I've got all the websites and they're going, my phone number is this. And I said, oh, you might regret that. Go and bang with your phone number. But they go, no, I want to talk to people. I want to get
Yeah.
on the phone. And if someone wants to check my stuff out, and they don't want to talk to me, well, they can go through the web. But I'm here prepared to. So I think a lot of people have woken up to that now and said, look, I have to talk to people. I can't sort of do this.
Exactly.
I know, like in Facebook groups, I've seen plenty of stories of people who closed deals via text message. They've never spoke to the person. They've done it all by text. So that happens. But, a lot of people, like you said, want to see the face. They want to see, even though it's virtual. I mean, even like with Zoom calls and that, they want to meet the person. They've seen a
Right.
couple of videos, they've seen the website, and then they actually get to do Zoom call. So there's, in the old sales terms, there's 7 touches by then, and it's been a visual thing rather than just over the phone. And I mean, I know myself, like when you're visually talking to someone, it's you sort of more connected than if you're just on the phone. The phone's a very barren place, So
Right.
yeah, no, that's a really good point. So I'll just go back to it. So if you want to reach out to Gabriel, firstly, his name's on there, his full name's on there, so you can check him out on Facebook, and his website's there, www.reileads.com, and then the website down there if you want to hit it and go and check the product out. Now, I might catch you off guard here. I don't know whether I mean, being a tech person, you probably can adapt here. But did you want to screen share and maybe just put your product, like or your website or up just to give people a quick look and just give them we've got sort of 5 minutes left. I'm thinking maybe if you just want to show that so people can get a visual of it, so then they'll know when they go what they're looking for. So I know I haven't prepared you for this, but I'll hit screen share
Okay. Yeah,
and
and I just wanted to mention, so we have my main site listed there, realeads.com. But for the podcast, I'm actually going to be giving you extra things if you go to on there. It's listed. I'm sure you'll have it for the podcast viewers or listeners as well. That link, but there's reifunnelpro.com/thunder.
yep,
That's the one I'm going to be showing you. Um, that will get you the same thing as if you go to my main site, but because Graham invited me and I really wanted to give you guys something extra. If you go to that link on there, I'm gonna be giving you it's a free book that we put together. It has over 70 different ways, um, 70 different lead sources for you to go out and start generating leads. And then we
cool.
also give you extra funnel templates. Um, different types of funnels so that you can get more leads as well. So make sure you can check out our main site, but make sure to go to the refunnelpro.com/thunder to grab those bonuses that we're giving to all of Graham's listeners and viewers.
All right, that's cool. Thanks, Gabrielle. I really appreciate that. So, guys, bang, cop that. If you go to the one in the white down there, the http://w reifunnelpro.com/thunder. Gabrielle's giving you a free booklet to go with it, which is what was it, 70 or 80 ways to generate more leads. So that's
Yeah,
free as a part of this podcast today. So thanks for that. Appreciate that. And he's just going to give us a quick look through now, but that's just a little offer that he's surprised us with now. So
right.
appreciate that. I'll just hang on. There we go. So
I think
here we
sure.
go, guys. We'll get Gabrielle to just show us through and talk us through this, which is the actual REI leads um,
Yeah.
product
So
product page, I guess.
yeah. So if you come here, it'll show you all the different things that the tools that come with everything that we build. So each site is going to come with we don't do any monthly fees. We're a one-time setup. So you come here and we build it onto your website hosting servers. So it's just a one-time with us. You do get the email notifications. So anytime someone fills out a lead, you don't want to miss those. So you get emailed anytime someone fills out the lead. The sites themselves also store those leads. So if you don't have your CRM, the website itself will keep those leads for you. So you can always go back and check them. It does integrate with pretty much any tool out there if happier. So if your biggest worry is, oh, will it connect to the CRM program that I'm using? I want to say it pretty much does connect with all of them as long as they have a Zapier integration. It does come with an SEO tool, so it kind of like shows you what's missing, what you need to add to your pages if you're trying to do like local marketing for a specific city or state or whatever it is. It helps you with building up that on page SEO. And then the other beautiful thing about the sites that we build is it comes with a page builder program. So when you go on there, the sites are going to be designed for you. But if you wanted to make tweets, like Graham was saying, you want to add a video or change verbiage, it's just as easy as hitting edit and then dragging over whatever you want to add on it. And like I said, it's SEO friendly. We do have two-step forms. So what we like to focus on is front end. We want to capture their information. That's the most important thing. But then once we have that, we take them into our questionnaire where we get more information about their house and what situation they're in. We always make sure that they're fully responsive, so no matter what they're looking, or how they're looking at your site, whether that's computer or phone, it's going to look great. And then like I was saying before, if you go through that link, you're gonna get, we have a called a property finder funnel. So if you're someone that's building up a bird dog army, or trying to get people to bring you leads, we have a funnel to capture that for you. And then that book that I mentioned, where we put a list of over 70 different marketing strategies for you to get leads, 20 of them actually being free strategies. So definitely make sure that you go through that book, and then it shows you the templates that we have, so that you can go in and choose the ones that you like, and then obviously we can modify it to like match your color scheme and things like that. So yeah, so that's that. Make sure you get that link if you wanted to get those bonuses.
Beautiful. That's awesome. So thanks for showing us through that. I'll just, yep, beautiful. Back on screen.
And then I don't know, I didn't see the Facebook profile link, but I could send that over to you, my Facebook profile, if anyone ever wants to like just connect with me on
Yeah, well, I
through
can
that.
actually put it in the YouTube video in the description. If you
Okay,
send it across to me, I'll chuck all that stuff, the link, and I'll put your Facebook profile on the website, if, direct as well, so that people can go and have a look at the YouTube video,
perfect.
and all that stuff will be in the description. So awesome. All right. Well, I'm not sure if there's anything else you wanted to talk about, but that sort of wraps it up. I think you've given us a big overview of why people should be looking to up their guns to the whole digital marketing, branding, organic leads, websites, the whole kit and caboodle. I think people, if they rewatch this, will sort of understand the key points that you've talked about, and about how it can really improve, and not just generate leads, but it can just improve the way everything interacts, so that things aren't just sitting there stagnant, they're actually working. So I really appreciate you coming in, Gabrielle. I'm not a great tech person, but I understand everything you're saying. So if I can, I think most people that are listening will understand it. But no, I really appreciate you coming in and spending your time explaining that. And like I said, I'll chuck all those links in the YouTube description, so people can hit them and go out. And then obviously people that watch this on Facebook as a replay, as it can see the stuff on the screen and that anyway. But yeah, no, look, you're doing a great job out there. You us tech challenge people, you're actually helping us out and getting us on the map. So really appreciate your work out there. And you know, I think you're right. I think a fair bit of outsourcing these days is making people focus on what they're really good at. So I like it. I like the fact that there's lead gen people out there, there's front end acquisitions people, there's tech people like yourself that can build stuff for you. I think it's the way to go, and everyone can make their own choice on it. But this is it. You've provided all the information, and people can come on and watch this and make their own mind up. So hopefully anyone that wants something like this can reach out to Gabrielle, and he'll take care of you. So, all right, Gabrielle. Well, thanks, mate. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
No
Yeah.
problem. It's been great talking to you. And because Gabrielle's come on, you guys have been thunderstruck. So bye for now.
Bye.